Hello and welcome back to Umineko. When last we left off, multiple more people were discovered dead and numbers were getting pretty low as tensions got pretty high. After sitting Jessica on the servant room bed, Nanjo told her several times not to touch her eyes and examined the affected area. The barrel had probably been near her eyes. There was a possibility that the flames from the discharge had injured her corneas. There was no threat to her life, but it would probably be necessary to take her to a doctor as soon as possible. Nanjo applied emergency first aid, covering the affected area with gauze and wrapping it with a bandage. As a result, Jessica completely lost her field of vision.
Is that okay? The wound may hurt or itch, but you mustn't scratch at it or rub it. When tomorrow comes, let us go to an ophthalmologist as soon as possible.
That bitch, she really was trying to kill me. If the angle had been just a little bit off, I'd have been killed by now. I'll definitely turn her into the police.
Ava-san would not do such a thing. That was an accident.
You call that an accident? She killed Dad and Mom. There's no way any 19th person or witch exists on this island. She's behind everything. She was the only one on the first floor of the guest house. George Nissan must have seen her kill Mom and Dad, and she killed him to keep him quiet. It's the same with Grandfather and the servants. I'm sure she snuck out of the family conference last night and killed all of them.
If that is indeed the case, then we'll find out about it as soon as the police investigate. The police are incredible, and with their powers of discernment, there is nothing that cannot be understood. There is no need for us to suspect or hate anyone. The police will resolve everything. So for now, Jessica-san, you should devote yourself to resting your body and keeping your eyes safe. Of course, if you wrinkle your forehead too much, it will do nothing good for your eyes, not to mention your beauty.
When Jessica's abuse of Ava had reached a crescendo, she actually had started glaring instinctively, and the pressure on her eyes had hurt her. Jessica herself realized that the more she talked, the more the wound would hurt. And regardless of whether she'd overcome her suspicions of Ava, she regained her composure for the time being. She killed them. Dad and Mom. And Shannon. And Cannon-kun. Cannon-kun. She'd heard that Cannon had been killed in the chapel. Jessica still hadn't seen his face after he had died. Jessica was now less fearful about the fact that she was blinded, and more frightened that the police would carry Cannon's body away while she still couldn't see, and that she would have to say her final farewell without being able to look at his face. Her anger at the culprit, and her sadness at the death of the person she liked. Those mixed emotions started her crying. But right now, tears were actually painful for her. So she wasn't even permitted to leisurely remember his face in bygone days. Jessica could do nothing but sit on the bed and let her head droop, withstanding the pain.
Well then, now I am more worried about Ava-san. I hope she isn't too shaken by this.
Realizing that Jessica had calmed down for the time being and letting out a sigh, he stuck his head out into the hallway to look for any sign of the others coming back.
Oh!
Then, their eyes met. Nanjo, unable to understand who this person was bewildered for an instant. I hear that people who've lost the power of sight have zero anti-magic power and magic resistance power. In other words, you're an isolated pawn right now. Understand what that means?
What did you say?
Nanjo had no way of understanding who the person in front of him was, much less what she had just said. Dr. Nanjo? What's going on? Unable to see, Jessica had to rely on voices alone to make out the situation. But since she heard Nanjo say something in an uneasy tone, she tightened up, thinking that something bad might have happened.
Stop, please. Please don't kill me. I have a sick grandchild. I mustn't die here. Please spare me. Eek.
Dr. Nanjo! Dr. Nanjo! Jessica couldn't do anything except call out from the bed. Judging by the tone of his voice, Nanjo was in the corridor, confronting someone. And he was scared. His life must have been threatened just a second ago.
No, stop it. Eek.
On the 9th twilight the witch shall grow 5, and none shall be left alive. The witch pointed the end of her gold staff at Nanjo. Even though he didn't know what she was planning to do, Nanjo assumed that she must be trying to take his life. Dr. Nanjo! Dr. Nanjo! Is someone there? Answer me!
Stop it! Aye.
Bang! A sharp sound echoed. And just as sharply, the tip of the golden staff tapered and stretched, slicing into Nanjo's forehead. Jessica, who could only try to grasp what was happening with her ears, had no clue what was going on. But even so, she was able to realize that with that sound, Nanjo had died. And she could tell that that person who was now in the corridor right in front. She could tell that that person was now in the corridor right in front of the servant room. Furthermore, since she couldn't see, she wouldn't be able to run away, much less resist. Knowing that she was a mouse in a trap and in a life or death situation, Jessica shuddered. Oh, Jessica! Too bad your eyes got injured. Now you can't even escape. I'm gonna play a whole lot with Nanjo's corpse now. When I get bored of that, I'll kill you next and play a bunch more. No, wait. If I've got you here blind already, I won't wait until you're dead. I'll have a lot of fun with you before I kill you too. So wait there shaking for a while, okay? As you try to imagine all the ways I'm playing with Nanjo's corpse. Yay! Jessica was struck with fear and let out a frail scream. She wanted to scream in a much louder voice, trying to get someone to help her. But she couldn't. When faced with true fear, it clogs up a person's throat. Right then, Jessica could barely even breathe. Help me! Help me! She searched around with her hands, trying to find some way to escape. But even though she should have known this room well, just being unable to see made it like a closed room of darkness. She ran into a shelf or something, and things like candy jars and bottles fell down, hitting her on the head. As she was now, it would have been tough for her to even guard her head to block it. She was painfully aware of how powerless humans become just by losing their sense of sight. Of course, she had no time to be impressed by this fact. She crawled around at random, trying to escape from that place. But she kept bumping into things that she didn't understand. getting hit by various falling objects. And it felt like the entire room was alive, bullying her and refusing to let her escape. Then, a footstep could be heard from that presence in the hallway. And then, a voice. She'd probably poked her head into the room since Jessica had been so loud. You really are noisy. Act like a lady and wait there on the bed. 'Cause I'll give you a wonderful blood-red death outfit fitting for such an honored daughter. Something good enough to make the person who finds you faint. Okay? Until just a second ago, she had sworn that she'd kill the culprit if she found them. However, she was now very powerless. She couldn't do anything except let out a scream, crawling around on the floor and bumping her head into the bed and the legs of desks. Help me! Help me! Someone help me! Dad, Mom, Battler, someone come! Help me! Kanagain! In the corridor, as the witch thought of how to toy with Nanjo's life, a single gold butterfly secretly watched that scene from the corner of the hallway. It was Beato, who had barely escaped with her life once before. The gold butterfly softly returned to human form. It was faint and transparent like a lace curtain. By now, her power was so weak that even maintaining this form was difficult for her. Right next to her, Ronove also appeared. It is unlikely that Jessica will survive. Of course, there were to be no survivors from the very beginning. She has grown feelings of love for Canon. I have toyed with them at times. However, such behavior was shameful for a witch. Love is the single element. Romantic love is even more pure, more sacred. Though for some reason you seem to despise it thoroughly, milady. Teacher told me. Magic exists to bring people happiness. That's something I myself must have been aware of in the past. Ever since I forgot that, I stopped being a witch. And so, I lost the right to be Battler's opponent. I can hardly believe it, milady. Do you actually intend to rescue Jessica? It will be dangerous. I know. Even if I do save her, she will become a plaything of the witch's banquet when the door to the Golden Land opens. But even so, that death would be far more compassionate than what that person would do to her. The witch's banquet steals lives in a terrible way, but it does not do so more than once. It does not toy with life and death. However, that person is different. She kills over and over. She kills for fun. There is not even a trace of compassion there. I want to at least save Jessica from that kind of cruel fate. Certainly, by carrying that out, you would probably be praised as a good witch. However, the new Beatrice-sama already views you as a hostile milady. If you were to be seen by her again, you would not have any method of escaping this time, correct? When I reunited George and Shannon, I finally understood what a witch is, and what magic is. I am a witch. I must act as a witch. And I must be acknowledged as Battler's opponent, and make Battler accept me as a witch this time round. The road to that goal may be long and difficult. However, if I do not take a step forward here and now, I won't be able to call myself a witch.
I understand your feelings, but how do you plan to rescue her? There are not many forms of magic that your body is capable of now, milady. Did you not have to borrow George's power, even back when you revived Shannon?
Indeed. And for that very reason, I may be able to save Jessica. Right now, she is begging for Cannon to save her. If I can borrow the power of that emotion, my magic may be able to knock on the doors of the land of the dead once again.
You may be able to knock. However, you would use up all of your magical energy. If you were to be spotted by the new Beatrice-sama, you would truly be without a method of escape. I am no longer your butler, milady. Understand that I cannot assist you if the situation worsens.
I know. By now, I have toyed with and taken over more lives than I can count. So, I may not be able to make up for it, except by saving the same number of lives, bringing them through that door. I have had nothing to lose in the first place. I am just a gold butterfly who has passed its name and magic power on, and who is no longer acknowledged as a witch.
What about Battler-sama? You are partway through a game with him. He has said that he would wait until you returned. Are you truly satisfied to end it here? You have a duty to return to the seat across from Battler-sama, milady.
For that very reason, if there's a life that only I can save, I will save it. And I will be accepted as a witch. I must become a witch. If this is training, it is a very childish thing. Nothing that compares with the evils I have committed before now. Vanish, Ronove. Watch what may be the final magic of a single butterfly who used to be called a witch.
Certainly. Please show me the magic. Please show me magic.
That will not disgrace the name of the Golden Witch. And I pray that it is not your final spell. Go, my friend. If you can find enough ink, write down the story of my foolish life and hand it over to some fool who is about to walk down the same path. So long, Runaway. Kanekun, where are you? Where are you? Help me. Help me. Milady, I am always there by your side. Kanekun! Kanekun! It seemed to Jessica as though she'd heard Cannon's voice just then. She looked around with unseeing eyes, but of course she saw nothing. On the contrary, that action caused her head to hit the desk again. Kanekun! Kanekun! Help me! Help me!
Yes, milady. I will help you.
Kanekun! You survived? This time, she thought she heard his voice clearly. Jessica jumped up in surprise, banging her head against the desk once again. Oh, before I forget, we did get a notification sound for Nanjo, who's over here. Attending physician Nanjo. His corpse was found in the hallway in front of the mansion's servant room. The weapon used on him is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. Just a little longer and he'd probably have managed to return alive. However, in the very end, the witch did not permit that.
Milady, please calm your heart and listen. Unfortunately, I am not alive.
Huh?
I have already died. However, that witch came to me to tell me of your peril, and she gave me just a little bit of time so that I could save you, milady. Please, calm your heart even more. If you do, my form will become visible even to you, milady.
Jessica obeyed those words. She chased all idle thoughts from her head and relaxed her breathing. Of course, her heart felt like it was going to explode after hearing the voice of the one she'd liked and had thought was dead. She resisted the excitement with all her strength. When she did, she felt as though Canon-kun really was right in front of her. Even though she shouldn't have been able to see him with her eyes, she was able to sense him clearly.
Can you see me, milady?
Yeah, I can definitely see you, Canon-kun.
I exist only as a soul now, so I cannot touch you, milady. I cannot do anything except talk to you like this. With my current weak existence, I can do nothing more than that, but I should be able to be of some aid to you, milady.
So, we can only talk? I can't touch you, Canon-kun?
I am now more fragile than smoke from a candle. So much so that if one of the living such as you were to touch me, I would be wiped away instantly. So please, don't try to touch me, because I am also holding back my desire to touch you, milady.
Oh, okay.
More importantly, milady, please listen well. The new Golden Witch has a cruel heart. She surely plans to make you meet with a horrible fate. You must escape from this room and hide.
How? I can't see anything.
Quiet. I will be your eyes, milady. Please move in accordance with my instructions. First, please crawl 3 steps from there, then stand up. You are now under the desk, milady. If you stand there, you'll hit your head.
That was under the desk? Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna stand.
Well done. Next, please turn to face towards 9 o'clock. Yes, well done.
Ha. This is pretty embarrassing. Ow.
Are you okay? Does your wound hurt?
No, I'm fine. What next? Jessica thought that if this was a dream, she didn't want to wake up. And if she were allowed to, she would have wanted to take off the bandage covering her eyes and see him. However, if she did that, Canon might vanish like frail candle smoke, just like he himself had said. She was afraid of that. So she satisfied herself with just listening to his words once more, repressing her desire to see him, to hold him. Therefore, what hurt her eyes now were tears of gratitude. Tears of gratitude for the god, or maybe the witch, who had given her this miraculous moment. Is this okay? If we keep talking like this, won't we be noticed by her? Won't our voices be heard? I have erected a secrecy barrier. As long as we don't make any loud sounds or speak noisily, no one will notice us. And that's why people can't tell when I'm around. I don't really get it, but anyway, we'll be fine as long as we stay quiet, right? What should I do next?
Please walk 10 steps in that direction. You will touch the sofa. Please continue along that. Do it slowly. Stay calm. Believe in my words.
Sure. It's weird. Even though it's so scary not being able to see. I'm not scared at all if you're with me, Kaneki. Yes, that is the sofa. Trace it to the left while advancing slowly. There is a table just to your left. Be careful not to bump into it with your shins. It was a very, very It was a very, very strange and bizarre team effort. Even though she would have been killed in an instant if the terrible witch noticed her, there was no fear in Jessica's heart. She was being protected and guided by Canon, someone she thought she'd never be reunited with. It would probably be just a momentary miracle. Even so, Jessica was deeply grateful for it. If she hoped for too much, she was sure that he would disappear, so she tried not to ruin this faint miracle. And, trying to engrave this moment into her heart for all eternity, she slowly continued to walk, obeying Canon's voice. Okay, if you walk 10 more steps, you will exit the servant room. Then, please turn to face 9 o'clock and keep walking very slowly. Put your hand on the wall to your right and keep on following that. I will take you to a safe room. If I go there, will you leave, Kaneki? Canon didn't answer, but his lack of an answer was enough to tell her the truth. Then, no way. I don't want to go. If you stay here, you will be killed by the witch. I don't mind. If I'm killed, I can go to the world where you are, Kaneki. Milady, please listen to me. The human world is too bright and painful for the dead, like me. So I cannot stay for long. So, milady, please allow me to use what time I am allowed to guide you to a safe place. Because after that, I will stay with you until my time runs out. Is that the very best you can manage, Kaneki? Yes. In exchange, I will stay by your side as long as possible. I will stay with you and talk with you, milady. Talk about what? What do you want to talk about? I don't care what, as long as you're willing to tell me, Kaneki. Well then, I will tell you the story of a cowardly servant boy who lacked all courage. The story of a foolish and pitiful boy who fell in love with a young lady as radiant as the sun, even when the lady confessed those same feelings to him. He lost to his cowardice and was never able to be honest with his feelings while he still lived. Yes, then I want to tell you a story too. It's the story of a cowardly girl who couldn't muster the courage to tell the boy she loved how she felt. Much more often. The story of how that girl, after being reunited with that boy by a miracle from God, used that chance to finally muster up her courage. I also want to hear that. So, for that reason as well, let us go. To a safe place. Yeah. If I could be with you, Kaneki, I would walk however far, however long it took. I don't need eyes anymore. If you tell me to step forward, I will take that step, even if it leads off a cliff. Thank you. Come, lady. Let us go. The first 10 steps. No, I don't like it. I won't do it, unless you call me Jessica. Understood. Well then, Jessica. Take the first 10 steps. Yes, Kaneki. Very quietly, Jessica and Canon slowly snuck out of the serpent room. Just around the corner, the witch could be seen cruelly looking down at Nanjo's corpse, but she didn't even notice their presence. However, Runaway, who stood at the ready by her side, met Canon's eyes. Canon thought, oh no, grimacing and blocking Jessica with his back. However, Runaway did not inform his master. He played dumb, just as though he hadn't spotted Canon in the first place. No, maybe he did appear to chuckle. From a finger on Runaway's hands, which were joined behind his back, a single small gold butterfly appeared, flying in front of Canon as though guiding him. It went unnoticed by the master he served. Canon was surprised at the magic that butterfly held, because it was far more powerful than the secrecy barrier Canon possessed. He may not have known it, but that power of his had originally been Runaway's. Canon's ability was an imitation of that, which Kinzo had made and given to him. As that butterfly of secrecy magic scattered gold scales, it grew smaller bit by bit. It probably wouldn't last long, but without a doubt, even that would buy them enough time to get them far away from the cruel witch.
Okay, my lady. Let's follow that wall and keep walking. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. If I can be with you, Canon, I'll keep on going. On and on. Led and protected by the small gold butterfly, the pair, separated by the wall of life and death, slowly walked away towards the end of the corridor. There was no way that the evil witch could have had magic to notice their flight. Until they disappeared at the other end of the corridor, the witch didn't realize that Jessica had vanished. By the time the gold butterfly Runaway had sent evaporated completely, Jessica had reached the parlor. Even though it would have been a quick trip if she'd been able to see, as she was now, it had been a very long adventure.
Come, milady. We've reached the parlor. I will now take you to the bundle of curtains by the window. If you hide in there, you'll surely be safe.
Inside the curtains? Not bad. I used to hide in there a lot long ago.
Beatrice-sama.
Huh? Canon called out the witch's name. Jessica looked around in surprise, but she obviously couldn't spot the witch when she couldn't see. Beato had appeared once again with a faint form. Canon squared off against the figure of the evil witch, but Beato's expression was soft, or even pitying.
I don't know what sort of whim led you to revive me, nor do I understand what you're thinking now.
Oh, it was nothing more than a whim. No. This is how witches should be. It took me 1,000 years to realize that. That is how foolish it is. Who is it? Who's there?
Milady, be quiet. She is the witch, Beatrice. I owe her, because she let me be with you one last time.
The witch, Beatrice? Forget about me. More importantly, you should quickly hide that girl in the shadows of the curtains. You probably do not have much time left. You may spend it having a final conversation with Jessica. A secret meeting inside a bunch of curtains. How clever you two are. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you for letting me be with Kanaka. Jessica didn't know where Beato was, so she said that while facing in the wrong direction. Perhaps because she found that funny, Beato snickered. I will now leave this room to the pair of lovers. Evil witches have no need for tales of love. Allow me to depart. Beatrice-sama, thank you very much. There is no need to thank me. You know that something like this cannot compensate for all of the evil I have done. I offer my gratitude to this good witch as a parting gift. I don't know what has happened before or will happen later. However, at this very moment, you are without a doubt a good witch. You flatter me, furniture. The next time we meet, I may be an evil witch who doesn't betray your expectations. And with that, farewell. Beato left the parlor and closed the door. And, mustering the last of her remaining magical power, she sealed the door. The fact that those two had escaped into here would eventually be noticed. And now that the 9th twilight had been reached, no matter how much they struggled, their inescapable fate had already been decided. However, until that final moment, they should be given the chance to speak with each other of their love. The witch poured out all of her magical power to protect their time together, so that no one would be able to defile their time alone until the last possible moment. At that time, Beato noticed something. Her body had been detected by a magical searching technique. The evil witch's furniture had sniffed this place out. So, boorishness is the witch's way of doing things after all. To think that she doesn't even intend to let those two young ones speak together of their love. 45 data received. Checking target, confirmed as the predecessor Lady Beatrice. Analyzing parlor defensive wall. 72 layered multi-layered defensive wall, attack-proof barrier, and anti-magic armor. Sniping into the parlor will be impossible. Data link to 410. 410 data received. 410 data received. And then we've just gotta kill predecessor Sama first. Yeah. Great Lady Beatrice, your firing permission, please. Go ahead and shoot. Oh, and avoid her vital areas. There's something I want to ask that old hag. 410 firing. The Gieste Sisters' gold bow released a gold snake. It crawled down the corridor, starting from the front of the servant room, aiming for the parlor as it drew a soft, snake-like curved line trajectory. And pierced Beato's chest. Ugh. Gold butterflies gathered, and the cruel witch appeared along with her furniture. Predecessor Sama, no further obstructions will be permitted. I didn't think they would be. Still, the Gieste Sisters really have gotten rusty. To think that they failed to bring me down. And twice at that. Where they spoke in a manner befitting the witch's butler. As she pushed her pain aside, Beato grinned and spoke back. My apologies, Predecessor Sama. We were ordered to avoid vital areas. As soon as we get the order, we can pierce you at any time. We can pierce a hole in your ears, a hole in your belly button, any hole you like. The gold snake that had pierced Beatrice grew even longer, drawing a funnel-shaped helix and awaiting its next order. It was prepared to pierce a vital spot as soon as the evil witch told it to. For what reason would someone like you, who is no less brutal than I, make them avoid my vital areas? No, Beatrice. I wanted to ask you something. I don't know what kind of trick you used to escape, but we thought we took you out, right? Why is it that even though you could have escaped by hiding, you took the risk of appearing again? It can't be that you came back just to protect those two young people, right? Well, who knows? Just a second ago, why'd you do something as soft as reviving the lovers and reuniting them? The more I hear about you, the more I learn that I don't even reach up to your feet as an incarnation of evil. If you're like that, why did you suddenly start acting so mildly? That's what I wanted to ask. I am brutal, therefore I am fickle. What purpose could questioning that possibly serve? She asked her sisters, "Sew her." When she ordered that, the gold snake that was curled in a helix and suspended in space moved as fast as a real snake going after its prey, and pierced Beato's body multiple times from both sides, its gold tail drawing an X shape. As the cruel witch had ordered, it drew a cross-stitch through Beato's chest. The gold thread made a squeaking sound and tormented Beato. Rather than a gold snake searching for its prey, it waited for orders like a sewing needle ready to sew Beato. If it's you we're talking about, there's no way it could have been a whim. I've heard about you. And I've learned. You're such an incarnation of evil that I don't even rise up to your feet. I thought I was truly a fitting successor to you. But you've always been in the way. And you always say warm, pleasant things that shock me. What changed you? You explored the depths of evil for 1,000 years. And I let you live, because I wanted to know what happened to make you change so much. If you really want to know, then I suggest you waste 1,000 years as well. So. Beato's chest was once again sewn with a golden cross stitch. It tightened once again, squeezing fresh blood from Beato's chest. The intense pain it caused ran in conflict with its beauty to the eye. You might be one of those things that disappear when they die and don't leave a corpse. So I'll kill you slowly. But if you answer my questions honestly, I'll let you die easy. I'll give you a splendid, gorgeous death. Perfect for my predecessor, Summer. I'll sink you in a coffin filled with water and roses. Isn't that wonderful? And you still won't talk? About the reason for your change of heart? Not answering when she is asked is another one of an evil witch's pleasures. So, twice. Yeah. Of course, you don't have to answer. After all, that way I get to torture you. The endless magic truly is wonderful. When you think about it, this world is limited in every way. The endless cannot exist in the human world. Because gods are without limits, the human world is deprived of all limitlessness, so that they can be looked down upon. So in other words, this endless power is the power of the gods. A wonderful power where the more you play with it, the more fun ways of playing you find. You use that power as you please for 1,000 years and went on a rampage. Why are you having a change of heart only now? You aren't going to say you regretted handing it over to me, are you? How could I regret it? The endless magic you believe in is no magic at all. True magic lies in a deep abyss that you most certainly cannot reach. And this is what you realized? Then what is it? Wander about for 1,000 years without realizing, foolish witch. So, 3 times this time. Beato's chest had been embroidered with the gold thread. It tightened even more, causing Beato more and more pain. Well, that's fine. I'm no longer curious about what kind of revelations an old hag who refuses to die might have had. I'm bored now, so I'll just kill you. If I do, the barrier around the parlor will dissolve. And then I'll torture Canon and Jessica to death a whole bunch of times. Being able to have 2 lovers as my toys at the same time sounds pretty fun, right? Kill her. Without missing by a millimeter, the gold sewing thread shot through Beato's heart. That intense pain was worse than all of the pain before that put together. Beato finally remembered the actual feeling of dying, which she had forgotten over the course of 1,000 years. But she couldn't die. She must not die. If she died, it would mean handing over the 2 in the parlor to the cruel witch. So she definitely couldn't die. She resolutely refused to die. New Beatrice, I have a request. The lovers' meeting between the 2 in the parlor will not last long. In the amount of time an hourglass can measure, Canon will probably vanish into the land of the dead. Would you please allow them at least that much time? No way! Isn't tearing apart 2 who love each other fun? You said it yourself, so I want to try it. In that case, I mustn't allow you that pleasure. Yes, it can be fun tearing apart lovers. Really? I'm sure it is fun. So it'll get in my way. So more. So. 410 understood. The merciless gold sewing needle sewed the gold thread through Beato's heart over and over again. However, no matter how much it tightened, that heart did not stop. This isn't nearly enough. I won't die by something like this. What are you doing? Make this old hag shut up. Kill her quickly. We're killing her. Even though we've sewn her heart in place several times, this person's heart won't stop. Are you immortal? Of course not. I have handed the Endless over to you. My heart will not beat many more times. However, if by making it beat just once more, I can give the two in this room a bit more time, I'll continue that resistance for all eternity. So, keep sewing until her heart stops moving. Why doesn't she die? It's impossible. Why isn't her heart stopping? Even though it's been sewn in place? Who cares? We'll make the heart explode from the inside. Yeah. How pitiful. You could have died cleanly if you hadn't resisted us. As they said that, even though the gold needle and thread made round trips over and over again, Beato still didn't die. The cruel witch eventually grew pale at how bizarre that was. What in the world are you? What in the world are you? You probably cannot understand. Even I didn't understand. And yet, somehow or another, it seems that this is true magic. In other words, I have now become it. I have become a true witch. Firing explosion center and heart interior. Fuse preparations ready. Explode! There was a terrible sound, and gold leaf was scattered around the area along with a cloud of gold butterflies. Beato's chest had opened wide from the inside, and from that, gold butterflies and gold leaf poured out, staining the surrounding area gold. Then, Beato's flesh crumpled. Like a puppet whose strings had been cut, she crouched down and crumpled. However, a gold heart tied by gold threads floated in the air and continued to beat. What the? Monster! When the Giestes saw that, they fell on their butts in shock. Somehow, even though Beato had become nothing more than a heart, it still kept beating, continuing to protect the barrier to the parlor. It was an immeasurably vast, magical power, impossible to measure. In other words, endless. I'm the Endless Witch, right? Why is this old hag still alive after all this? Chester sisters, smash that heart. Quickly. It's impossible, my apologies. We can't do it. Indeed, it probably will be impossible. No number of people could crush that heart. And certainly not the soldiers who serve under His Highness the Dragon King. In that case, an endless witch like me should be able to crush it, right? My power is that of a god. I'm afraid to say that your power cannot leave a single wound on the Endless of Beatrice-sama. Just what do you mean by that? Just as there can be no light without knowledge of shadows, there can be no infinite without knowledge of the finite. For my Lady Beatrice's true endless power, your frail magic is quite lacking.
What is that? Ah!
The cruel witch was surprised and stepped back. It was thinner than a lace curtain. But Beato's form, no, Beatrice's form, was still standing there. Even after being laid bare so tragically like this, she refused to let evil through that door. At that time, a shadow just as thin as Beatrice stood behind her. It was Canon.
Beatrice-sama, thank you very much. I won't forget what you've done for us.
I'll hear those words of yours once the number of my blessings has surpassed the number of grievances I have caused. Was that long enough?
Yes, truly, thank you very much. And Beatrice-sama, you have also done enough. Please, be at peace.
Is that so? Is this enough? Huh. What's going on? Why are you guys calling that old hag Beatrice? Beatrice is my name, right? It's got to be, since I'm the new Golden Witch and Endless Witch, right?
How rude. How dare you claim Beatrice-sama's name? I am afraid to say that the name of Beatrice-sama belongs to the one crowned as the Endless Witch. Right now you are the predecessor.
What did you say?
Farewell, Canon. I'm sure I'll see you soon enough. In a new nightmare. In the nightmare of a new light, I will once again be your companion, Beatrice-sama. With that, if you would excuse me.
Canon's form grew faint, and he disappeared into thin air. After watching him go, Beatrice's form also grew faint, and before disappearing, it slumped over onto the floor. Then there was a splat. The golden heart that had been floating in mid-air lost its sparkle, became blood-stained flesh, and fell to the ground. How frail it was. It was ragged and full of holes. But until a moment ago it had sparkled so much, had continued to beat so forcefully. That heart still just barely managed to beat. However, it was only a matter of time before it stopped. Beatrice, whose form had become fragile and faint like incense smoke, lay on the floor, steadily watching her own heart. There, the cruel witch could be seen. What do you mean, endless? Aren't you actually collapsed in a heap right there? How can there be a finite infinity? That's a contradiction. It couldn't exist. This is the limit of your magic. The endless is better than the finite. Beatrice no longer even had the will to respond. No, on the contrary, it was doubtful that the words of the cruel witch even reached her ears. If you're a real endless witch, try standing up. How's it going? You can't stand, can you? Why do you think you can't stand? It's because you aren't the endless witch. The cruel witch poked Beatrice's heart with her fingernail. Beatrice had no words with which to respond to that provocation. However, instead of words, she returned a single expression. It felt humiliating only to the cruel witch, because she had gently curved her mouth and smiled. Footsteps were approaching that place. There was no way she had misheard it. That rough squeaking of heels was the sound of Battler's footsteps. Battler, is it? After talking so tough, I ended up like this. I've been trying to become the true witch you talked about, in my own way. Yeah, I was watching. Hey, have I been able to become a witch? Have I earned the right to become your opponent? It's useless. Battler said it unbelievably bluntly. As Beatrice breathed painfully, she saw this and sneered at herself, as though she should have expected it. Ha! I see. Yes, the road to becoming a true witch will be much, much longer than this. However, I will not surrender, just like you never surrendered to my torture. I will definitely become a true witch and be accepted as your opponent. Yeah, it's useless. It's all useless. You aren't my opponent. The cruel witch raised her foot high. Below it was Beatrice's frail heart. Die, you old hag. Let's see how endless you are when you've been crushed to a pulp. I'm the witch. I am the golden witch, Beatrice. Die. It's useless. It's all useless. What is this? Where is this? Get in your seat. Beato is my opponent. You are. Battler? What kind of magic is this? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Chieste sisters? 45 understood. Attacking everywhere. 410 understood. Die, Battler. Chieste sisters each readied their own golden bows and fired golden arrows. The two only pulled the bowstring together when using precision guidance. If they were fighting against an enemy before their eyes, they fired their bows at the same time. And their might did not suffer in the slightest. What? It was deflected? There's no barrier. It was deflected by resistance alone? 45 target analysis? 45 understood. Huh? What? Did I break down? Am I insane? Anti-magic resistance power endless 9. Even mythical class magical attacks won't be effective against the target. Golden bow warheads could penetrate any magical armor through reciprocal corrosion. When one tried to block them with anti-magic resistance power, even 8 digits were not sufficient to prevent their penetration. By the way, even famous gods that appear in myths rarely reach as high as 9 digits. For that reason, 9 digits were enough to measure pretty much all sensible values. Battler had buried all 9 of those digits with 9s. How foolish. When Battler's armor gets serious, magical arrows and the like aren't enough to make his hair tremble. The Chiesti sisters dropped their golden bows in shock. To Battler himself, it was as though a pair of dragonflies had flown past his shoulder. What are you doing? Is that some kind of game? Eek. Monster. Stay back, small fries. Get in your seat, fake witch. I'll tear off that mask of yours. Eek. The Chiesti sisters couldn't hide their fear at Battler's ferocity, and they backed up as though they'd been struck. Beatrice watched the scene in shock. But Battler... what is this supposed to be? Just like you see, you aren't my opponent. She is. That imposter over there who's using your name. I'm fighting against a witch. I face off against an opponent who claims to be a witch, and I deny witches by defeating them. I've seen more than enough of your arrogance. Then Battler's eyes grew sharp as blades as he stared down the cruel witch. What are you calling magic? What are you calling witches? You're no witch. I'll rip that mask off and tear it to shreds. Virgilia, get ready to fight. Understood. Preparations are complete, so go whenever you're ready. Beatrice, stay back and rest. Indeed. Beato looked at Battler timidly. She still hadn't been acknowledged as his opponent. Was she qualified to watch the game board from the sidelines? Beato, stay back and watch. I'll tear it off. I'll thoroughly dismantle this fake witch. I won't let someone like this call themselves a witch. You protected the honor of true witches. You don't need to say anything. On your behalf, I'll teach her that the name of the Golden Witch definitely isn't that cheap. But Battler... those are the general rules. Thank you, Runaway. I get most of the rules now. I see. You can't win with magic, so you came to face off with me in a world where victory is decided by something other than magic. Foolish people. Do you really think you can win against me with twisted logic? Yeah, I do. I'll crush all your twisted logic, Aunt Ava. I am not Ava. That is the name of the old shell I shed. I am a true witch born of inside her. Don't try to trick me. Your true form isn't a witch or anything like it, but a flesh and blood human. The human culprit is Shuramiya Ava. Virgilia, reconstruct the second Twilight. Understood? On the second Twilight, Rosa and Maria were killed in the Rose Garden. We begin by applying the Ava culprit theory for that case. Huh? Ridiculous. Come, arise, try to remember. What form did the Shuramiya Hideyoshi have? What? What's this supposed to be? It's a summoning of the dead. A witch can easily bring even the dead up to the stand for testimony. On the opposing side, a transparent Uncle Hideyoshi was summoned. Talk about convenient. He looked as though he couldn't see what was going on here, almost like a person on the other side of the TV. Witness summons. Shiramiya Hideyoshi's testimony. Come, Hideyoshi, speak. I was taking care of Ava in our room the whole time. Of course, Ava didn't leave the room. Aunt Ava, around here, testimony of this in red isn't worth crap. I demand that he repeats it again in red. Oh yeah, that's right. Sure, say it in red. I was in the room the whole time. I was in the room the whole time, both before and after the time of the crime. See, look. This makes it impossible for Ava to be the culprit, right? How will you counter this? Ridiculous. That move's so lame I could yawn. Beato never used such childish tricks, not even once. Battler. Repeat it! Aunt Ava was also in the room for the entire time before and after the crime. Uncle Hideyoshi was just there to create an alibi. You made him stay in the room and stealthily snuck out. If that isn't true, this guy should be able to say so in red. I refuse to repeat it. Hideyoshi's evidence is sufficient. There's no need for me to repeat that, right? She has refused. You need show no mercy. This is check. Yeah, I'll take it. This opponent's slow. Check. Maybe Uncle Hideyoshi didn't leave the room the whole time, but saying he was taking care of you the whole time is a bright red lie. Therefore, no alibi exists for you. You had a chance to slip out of the room and kill Aunt Rosa and Maria. If you think you could dodge that, try proclaiming in red that Aunt Ava didn't take a step out of her room. You can, right? Checkmate. What the hell? I don't get it. Sorry, Aunt Ava. Even if you aren't used to the rules, beating your opponent down with all your strength is how this game is played. Right, Beato? Indeed. The witch side resigns. Let us continue on to the next game. Next is the 4th through 6th Twilights. It seemed that the witch still didn't understand how to make a winning move, and she lost her composure in irritation. She was probably also angry that a shot had been taken at her while she still didn't get what was going on. However, I won't go easy on her at all. Just like she didn't go easy on the victims at all, I won't go easy on her. Virgilia, next crime. Let's reconstruct the case with Dad and the rest. Understood. 3 people, Rudolph, Kyrie, and Hideyoshi, went to the mansion and were killed there. My move won't change. Aunt Ava, you are the culprit. This time, you don't even have to have an alibi from Uncle Hideyoshi. You claimed that you were sleeping in that room all by yourself. But that's not true. If you can proclaim it in red, just try it. I refuse. So tell me, Ava's just a woman, and there were people who died were 3 adults with 2 guns, right? How did she kill them all by herself? How did she do it with those stakes as weapons? Like everyone keeps asking, how's this stake shooting device constructed? Explain that. Unless you can explain it, even if Ava doesn't have an alibi. That doesn't mean that when it was possible for her to commit the murders. I refuse to explain. It's a devil's proof. Just because I can't explain it, that doesn't deny the existence of an unknown murder technique, or maybe an unknown weapon. In short, even if I can't explain how the stake shooting device is constructed, that doesn't prove it doesn't exist. What the hell? Does that ridiculousness even count? Your devil's proof is valid. Agreed. It's a valid devil's proof. The battler can claim that a stake-shooting device exists without bearing the responsibility of explaining how it is constructed. The witch side cannot object to this move.
Not bad. How pushy.
Heh. Well, there's this ill-natured witch who trained me well. This is check, okay? Try saying in grad that Aunt Ava didn't take a step out of that room. That's right, you shouldn't be able to say it. If you can't say it, it's over. Checkmate. That's so irrational. This is messed up.
Those are the rules of this game. How about some black tea first? And some delicious cookies as well.
I don't need all that. Ah, that pisses me off. So you fight like a coward just because you can't win with magic. Don't get irritated. Drink some black tea or something. I'll take mine straight. What about you, Bieto?
I am fine. More importantly, Battler, don't let your guard down. Your opponent is only unfamiliar with the rules. This will only really start once your opponent gets the gist of it.
But I'll crush her. I'll thoroughly crush her. Because she is no witch. If I accept her as a witch, all your stubbornness will count for nothing. I don't care what kind of irrational argument or twisted logic I have to use. I'll crush her with all my heart and soul.
Battler's side then stuck with the Ava culprit theory to explain Kraus and Natsuhi, the 7th and 8th Twilights, in the exact same way. At the time, there had been no one on the first floor except for Ava and the victims. As before, no one could establish an alibi for Ava. Back then, Ava had claimed that they'd disappeared while she went to the bathroom. But there was nothing to support that, and the witch side couldn't repeat it in red either. Using the same style of argument as that question regarding the stake shooting machine, the witch side asked once more how Ava could have strangled both of them at the same time all by herself. But of course, Battler splendidly counterattacked by refusing to explain because of the devil's proof. Under the storm and stress of Battler's spirit, the witch side was completely swallowed up. Having to resign 3 times during the short period of time she had to grasp the rules,
I see. I'm finally starting to get the knack of it. I won't let you have things your own way anymore. This time, let me take the initiative. Renove, reconstruct the 4th through the 6th Twilights. Pick out a Shuramiya Kyrie. For now, let me return to the murders of Rudolph, Kyrie, and Hideyoshi during the 4th through 6th Twilights.
What is she thinking? Why would she return once more to a situation where she's lost? I see. This is an unusual attack, and one you do not use. Be careful.
At the time, the survivors were barricaded in the guest house. They didn't have food, but out of concern for their safety, they were at least prepared to go without eating until the next day. However, in the end, 3 of them went out for food. That's right. In the end, 3 people went outside to get food. It's a pain, so I'll let in some red and say it. Kyrie didn't think that they needed food, since going without food for about a day wouldn't kill them. She claimed that they should not leave the guest house, and yet she herself suggested that they leave the guest house to get food. Isn't that a contradiction?
Yes, a spectacular contradiction. Contradiction exists in Kyrie's pattern of behavior.
That contradiction was created by me with magic. In other words, I controlled Kyrie using magic and made her say that to lure the sacrifices outside. Ridiculous. There's no way that kind of magic exists. It's the devil's proof, right? Just because you don't know about that magic doesn't deny its existence. And I don't bear the responsibility of acting out that magic for you. And yet, you have even less room to counter this argument. I wonder if it's okay to fight this way.
Yes, it is truly a spectacular move. Battler-sama, your response if you please.
That's a weird strategy she's taking. So just what is this?
She has placed a piece where attacking Ishomiri Kirie's pattern of behavior. As has already been explained, Kirie's pattern of behavior had her saying that they should not go outside or head to the mansion in order to get food. And yet, she herself took the initiative, taking the contradictory action of going out to get food. Unless you can explain this contradiction, she will use this violent move to claim that magic was the cause.
Well, that's probably what Kirie-san thought in the beginning. But she probably thought through a few things midway, then changed her mind and decided that food really was necessary. It would be bad if, when things got tough, we were so hungry that we had no energy, and, well...
She is claiming that this change of heart was due to magic. In short, while it might be extremely difficult, you must explain the reason for Kirie's change of heart.
What are you saying? You're talking about the inside of Kirie-san's head, right? Can I also summon Kirie-san's ghost and question her? Bieto, can't you call Kirie-san here or something?
She cannot. That is a move permitted only to the witch side. Sorry.
Ah, fuck! She's probably, thinking of us kids and, on the whole, thought that food was necessary and...
You must present your claim through objective means. You'll need concrete proof that Kirie changed her mind and decided that food really was necessary for some specific reason. For example, if someone heard her say that, or if it was written down somewhere.
Too bad. The reason she changed her mind was not passed on to anyone, nor was it written down. Therefore, you can only speculate as to what was inside Kirie's mind. So it's impossible to explain. You don't have a single counter to my move. Isn't it your turn to resign now, Battler Kern?
It is possible to hypothesize endlessly as to the reason behind her change of heart, and yet it is impossible to crush all those endless possibilities. A detestably spectacular move. If Battler-sama were to have a method of countering, it could probably only be that move. What move is that? Well, I wonder what kind of move it could be. I have the feeling that it was Milady's specialty, but I cannot remember.
Quit being stingy and tell me.
Beatrice, no answers will be given to those who stop thinking for themselves. Think. Think in your own way.
Why don't you resign right now? And I'll corner you even more with red. Until the last instant before she died, Kirie's behavior pattern of not going to get food equals not going to the mansion was maintained. And yet she took the initiative and headed towards the mansion. She was pushing a cart ready to carry food. Why that contradiction? Because I controlled her with magic. This is proof my magic exists and that I am a witch. Shut the hell up. Are you saying that she never even changed her mind? That the whole time until she died, Kirie-san thought, we don't need food and we won't go to the mansion? Then why did she step forward herself and say that they should go get food and go to the mansion?
you saying that Kirie-san was being controlled with magic? That's stupid. How should I break through this magic? If only Kirie were here, just told us the reason behind her change of heart. No, I've already been told in red that she never even changed her mind. What should I do? There's no move that the human side can counter with.
The more I learn about this game, the more advantageous the rules seem for the witch, right? Even if I lose in a lot of areas, I can win in just one. That alone can display the existence of a witch. In other words, Valorkin has no way of denying witches other than a complete victory. It's really funny that even though you thought you could corner me and call me Ava, it's all been spun around by nothing more than the inside of your respected Kirie-san's head, right? Just do it. Resign. If only you just accept it. If only you just lose. Damn it! It's impossible for a human to prove. I can't do anything but guess at what the dead were thinking when they acted. Furthermore, I can't deny the magic based on conjecture alone. To break through it, I need objective proof as to why Kirie-san had a change of heart. But damn it, it's been said in red that no proof exists as to why she changed her mind and wanted food. What should I do, damn it? Damn it!
Battle-sama, is this your resignation?
Not going to get food equals not going to the mansion. But then, how should I understand Kirie-san's thoughts, which actually do contradict each other? You can't understand. It's impossible to understand and impossible to interpret. That darkness is all of the witch. Come on, it's useless to think, so quit, okay? You just can't deny witches. After all, I exist right here. I am the Golden Witch. I stole that name from the former witch over there. You can't deny that I am Beatrice. Damn it! You have no right to use that name. And yet, I can't think of a move to deny it. Battler could no longer counter this witch, who was laughing insanely in triumph. He didn't want to give up, but no move appeared. He ground his teeth, making fists with both hands. But even so, he couldn't think of a brilliant counterattack.
Battler-sama, your time limit is over, so will you resign? The human side has no move in response. It will resign. Wait! There is a counter.
What did you say? Huh? What kind of move could possibly exist, Predecessor-sama? Won't you tell me what kind of move could deny this magic of Beatrice's? You can't. It's impossible.
If the proposition that not going to get food equals not going to the mansion cannot be explained by itself, I will explain it with the contrapositive. In short, you can also explain it with she went to the mansion equals she had a goal other than food. This is less my speciality, Hempel's Raven, than it is Battler's speciality, chessboard thinking. If it was impossible for Kirie to have gone to the mansion with food as a goal, then we can only explain it by saying she had another reason that got her to go outside despite that. In other words, if we could prove that she had such a goal, we could defeat this magic.
I see. So, she didn't go to the mansion with food as a goal, but she had a different goal. And she said that she wanted to go and get food in order to disguise her real goal. True enough, it might be possible to find an explanation that way. But how?
Teacher, reconstruct the scene of Kirie's death.
We cannot summon a ghost, but inspecting the corpse ought to be a right allowed to the human side. Yes, there is no problem. I shall reconstruct the scene where Ashuramiya Kyrie died. We cannot call Kyrie's ghost here, but by finding out what Kyrie left behind, we may be able to use that as a weapon. Fine, search as much as you want. There's no way you'll learn anything. I just said it in red a short while ago. Kyrie did not leave anything written down. No matter what you find, how could you possibly figure anything out? We may find nothing, but Battler is grinding his teeth, fighting to think of a move to break through you. This is all that I can do. Beatrice landed on her feet in the reconstructed hall, approached Kyrie's corpse and wandered around observing. I am completely clueless when it comes to fighting on the human side. We need to find evidence, right? Then what should I search for? The great Lady Beatrice is getting down on her knees and crawling around. And she's even indecently searching a corpse? That look suits you. Say whatever you wish. I cannot do any more than this. I care not how I am despised. However, I cannot throw Battler away, as he is fighting for my honor. Even if I must crawl on the ground and search through dead flesh, I must answer to that responsibility. Bathed in the witch's sneers, Beato searched through Kyrie's corpse. She fished through the pockets, taking what was inside out and laying it on the floor. Laid on the floor was a handkerchief, tissue, a key to her house, the stub of a boat ticket, a lighter, a cigarette butt, and a single 100-yen coin. There was no special suspicious object. Although Beato was down on all fours and being sneered at, that was all she could find. As anticlimactic as it may be, we might have to stop here because I think this section just goes and goes. We'll pick it up next time and run right through this trial with Ava Beatrice. But until then, thank you for watching and see you next time.